Okay, let's see. YouTube, it says is working. Let me just check on Facebook setup video. Okay, streaming software. Copy that. Okay, there we go. Looks like we are connecting the software. And we are live. In all the right places, apparently.
In all the right places.
Yeah. Yes, and I look at the dates and it's like the 24th of December, 2022. And I'm going like, how's this possible?
When did that happen?
Yeah, like when did that happen? Okay, well, let's make it happen. It's episode 95. As Lester rightly pointed out, I had a haircut.
Especially, I mean, thanks, mate.
I cut off the cap.
Oh, that's the difference.
Yeah,
Now
my
I'm
toupee's
getting
at the
it.
dry cleaners, dude. My toupee's at the dry cleaners. Yeah.
Is there any particular reason why I'm on the right-hand side of the screen?
Oh, are you complaining again?
That was a mere question. I'm not sure there was a complaint in there.
Okay. I'm sure that I can make a plan.
Can't scoot me.
I will
scoot me over.
You. How about no? A little bit down, a little bit down, a little bit up, a little bit there. How about there? There you go.
Okay.
Are you sufficiently satisfied now?
I think that's the best I can expect from you at Christmas. So.
Oh, that is so wrong. So wrong. How's that better? Is that now we level?
If I took my cap off, we would be, yes.
Yes. Right, so I can't even remember when last we did a podcast episode. It must be some plenty weeks ago. So I would say there's so much that's happened since we last spoke.
In the last month. It's been like a month.
It's probably been a month, yeah. And like, who knows where to start? But I suppose the easiest one to start with is, how was your cruise?
I've forgotten about that.
I've forgotten already. I mean, that was what, 3 weeks ago?
That was 3 weeks ago. Yeah. Oh no, it was cool.
Yeah. So just remind us what the itinerary was. You flew out of the UK, landed in.
Flew from Heathrow to Miami, which was sitting at 28 degrees at the time. Met up with some friends, went to dinner, and then next morning got on a cruise ship in the port of Miami, met up with a whole bunch of people, and we sailed south or west. Not sure.
Yeah.
It doesn't really matter. We went and stopped along the way. We went for a week, stopped in the Roatan Islands in Honduras.
Right.
We stopped in Belize. We stopped in Mexico, Cozumel Island, and the mainland, Costa Maya. I've got to think about this. It's so long ago. All in all, very good weather. Seas were choppy at times, but it was fine because I was in the casino in the middle of the boat trying to figure out how to pay for the trip.
Okay.
Yeah, I went quad biking through the jungle in Honduras. That was cool. Yeah, lots of sunshine. I mean, I don't know where to start. It was epic. Yeah.
Oh, awesome. Sounds epic, dude. Yeah, that's great. And then, so how many days were you away for?
about 9, I think, 9, 10,
Okay.
something like that.
Oh, that's nice, man.
I flew back. When I left, it was about 30 degrees, and I landed at Heathrow. It was -4, and then started snowing.
Oh my word.
Yeah, what a wake-up call. Your holiday is over. Bang, back to work.
That's crazy, yeah. And like and now like over Christmas, what's the plan? Are you still working, or like have you taken
Well, yeah, so I was off for about a week and a half, and then I've gone back to work for less than 2 weeks, and now I'm off again
okay.
until the 5th of January. And then I go back for like 2 weeks, and then I'm off again for like 3 weeks.
All right. Ah, yeah. And you're
Yeah.
coming to coming south.
I've decided that in the winter I need to go south.
You need to go south.
I need to go south for the winter, for
I
the
like
warmer
that plan.
climes.
I like that plan. So how is your planning going for your southern trip?
Well, we
Or shall
were
we
all
talk
supposed to
about that
meet up.
later?
We were all supposed to meet up yesterday and make some bookings, but we failed dismally
Oh, really?
on all of our accounts.
Oh, no.
We pretty much know what our itinerary is. We just got to book accommodations, and I need a hot air balloon. I need a hot air balloon in the wine region.
Oh, down in Cape Town.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the problem there is it's like so weather dependent.
So you're saying I should do it somewhere else?
No, well, I mean, if you need to do a hot air balloon,
I just thought, that whole wine area would be
yeah, no, absolutely. I'm just
in its
thinking,
own, not beauty-wise. I mean, I'm
yeah.
sure that is, but it's more different from the coastal parts of Cape Town.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I was just thinking. I was just thinking out loud. I mean, it's just like, yeah. I mean, with the hot air balloon thing, anyway, it's always a thing. You know, like you get there at like the crack of dawn, and then the pilot,
And they cancel it. Yeah.
he's there with his little helium balloon, and then he lets it off, and then he checks to see how much wind is up there, and if it goes, then he's like, "Sorry guys, come back tomorrow," kind of thing. So,
I'm not there tomorrow. I see the point. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know enough about it.
Well, you seem to know a lot about it, considering you're not a man of heights. You seem to be okay with this.
Well, speaking about heights, I mean, one of the activities that I've partaken in while I've been on holiday, well, on leave, put it that way.
So you're on holiday now?
Yeah, I'm on holiday now.
Okay.
I went to Gold Reef City with my daughters.
Is that still there?
Yeah, it's still there. They've got some new rides and that kind of stuff. And so, yeah, so we went and we did the Anaconda, and we did the Golden Loop, and we did the Josie Express, and we did the ship and the boat and the I don't know what the UFO.
The ship and the boat. Okay.
The ship and the boat and the yeah.
Hang on, the Josie Express, isn't that an actual train?
Yeah, I might be giving it the wrong name, Josie, whatever. But it's like really old school kind of roller coaster.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
And let me just say, if you've got back issues, I don't recommend it.
If you've got a fear of heights,
it's fun. No, well,
you were fine with it.
No, well,
Okay.
this is the thing. I mean, like you're going up the Anaconda, and it's the only thing I didn't do was the Tower of Terror, which is that one where I don't know if you know about it. So it's integrated into one of the old mine shafts, the actual headgear. And what it does is it's like a 2-row seat thing. It's like a little
I
box,
think I know what this
right?
is.
And it goes
Yeah.
and it goes tick 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 tick, and it gets to the headgear, and then it goes up like the lift, right, to the top. And then as it gets to the top, then what it does, it comes out the front of the headgear, and then tips forward like that, and then drops down the mine shaft, and then comes out the other side there. Now, I've done that a couple of times. I'm okay with it. It's like, yeah, I'm okay with it.
Is that because you're strapped in and you feel safe?
Yeah. Yeah. When I'm like there and I've got like some dodgy little harness there and I don't know, it's just like I freeze up.
That's weird.
I freeze up. Yeah,
That's
it is
weird.
weird. It is weird. I mean, because like when you do the anaconda thing, you like tick, 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 tick. And
Tick,
you get
tick,
to the top
tick,
and you can
boom.
like look out of Johannesburg and you can look down in the bottom there. It's like, oh, it's quite far down there. And then you go, boy. Yeah. But it was good fun.
So
It was really good fun.
Do we just, because it's been years since I've been there, is the mine still open, or as a place for tourists to walk around, or
Yeah.
did we say it was flooded? They still do tours.
Yeah, they still do tours. I don't know how elaborate they are. I mean, I did them a couple of times when I was in school.
Yeah.
And it's changed quite a bit since then, and obviously it became a theme park and all that. But they still have the houses where you can go inside and see how they used to live and what clothes they wore. And there's like still a
Proto Hotel.
gold panning thing where you can go do some panning. And
Okay,
like
so
for
it's
me,
still,
it's
it's
like
still a
if you've-
museum
yeah,
as well as the amusement park.
yeah. I mean, if you've done it once, you've done it. I think if you're a tourist coming to this country, maybe it's a novel thing to do, But as a South African, hey, I'm there just for the flip and thrill of the rides, dude.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I have one of my best New Year's parties there.
At Gold Reef.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was 91.
All right.
No, it couldn't have been. I was in the army then. 92 maybe.
Yeah.
Anyway, we didn't know what we were doing, and eventually my mate Barry, who now lives in Australia,
Oh yeah.
we decide let's just go to Gold Reef City. There's going to be loads of people there.
Sure.
And yes, sure, there was. And we had this little competition as to how many people on the stroke of midnight, the games begin, because by then we trolleyed. And the whole thing was to see how many girls we could kiss and wish Happy New Year. And obviously, I think I won. I can't remember.
You think you won?
But we almost got into a few fights because it was blatant. We were drunk. It was blatant what we were doing. And and a few boyfriends got a bit upset.
I'm sure.
As you would. Get off my girl. It's been 5 minutes.
Yeah. Yeah, I must admit, when I'm walking around there, like where Barney's was, or the brewery, remember they had their brewery there? And then it was like a restaurant, and you buy these like liter jugs of beer. Like each person buys their own jug. And like by the end of the evening, you like, one of those. And then across the road used to be Rosie O'Grady's or something like that. And they used to have the can girls that used to dance on the, so I, like flashbacks to say, 30 years ago, dude.
When you studied in those days, your res was right there.
Just up the road. As I would say,
this was like your local.
Within crawling distance. Yeah, we used to go there on a Friday night. And basically, it was like a street party between Barney's and Rosie's. Yeah. And it used to be pretty epic. Yeah, I must admit. Yeah, those were the days.
So that night, that New Year, the thing that, I had a great time and all that, but the thing I remember most is actually waking up in the morning.
Oh.
Because it was just me and my mate. Well, there's a bit of time that we've lost.
Yeah.
But I got woken up by. I'm just trying to duck this light here.
Yeah. You've got a halo.
I'm just getting all these ideas, flashbacks. I got woken up by a dog licking my face.
Oh. What was her name? Ooh.
I never got her name. Because as soon as I was awake and going, get off my face, it started growling. It was a German Shepherd security dog attached to a security guard, and he's like, "You need to go now."
Yeah.
And I came to in this blaring sun. It was only probably about 7 in the morning, but this, oh my, get this light out of my face. uh, and I tried to get up, and I realized my one foot was tangled, and it was inside my mate Barry's car. So I'm lying on the ground with the door open, one foot in the car. I didn't make it. I didn't make it. My foot made it, but that's as close as I got. And I was like, "Oh,
Uh,
Barry, where are you?" Barry made it. He was sleeping in the driver's seat.
shit.
I mean, that's just as well I didn't make it, because I swear he would have driven home in that state. So that's what I remember, waking up to this dog and the blaring sun. And I've never been back since.
Mm. Well, yeah. Yeah, look, I think that place has changed in terms of that. I mean, it used to be a very vibrant night spot. I don't think it is
So you just,
anymore.
so it's just a day out kind of thing.
Yeah, day out kind of thing. I think they close it. I don't know what time they close, but yeah, I don't think it's like, it's not that anymore. The other places that one goes to now, if you want to have a shindig like that. But I mean, here's a question. I mean, are street parties a thing, like in your village, in your town? Do you think
No,
spill out onto the road or like,
no, I think it depends on where you live.
yeah.
It's generally raining or very cold, so we don't do a lot of outdoor stuff.
Yes.
I would say, being Christmas period, there are certain events around the country that you do go outdoors for.
Mm.
And I was thinking that what's hitting TikTok a lot this week is there's a certain road in London, which is quite wide, but you walk along the road and the people gather there on every Wednesday night leading up to Christmas, and they sing carols. And there's a vicar in the middle, or whatever he is, whatever his rank is,
Yeah.
and he gets the crowd going. And they've got musicians turn up. There's a piano in the middle of the road. They've got the vicar standing on top of the piano, leading these hordes of people in the sing-song. But the whole area is got the right decorations and lights. You walk up to this, you can hear it before you're there.
Yeah.
So you walk down the road, and they've got, every shop is selling something Christmassy, so you can get your Yule log or last minute fancy shopping. There's the whole street is just the theme of Christmas, and then you get to the carols. They just take over the whole street,
Yeah.
and 2,000 people congregate and sing carols and then bugger off.
Mm.
It's that sort of stuff happens.
Sure. Sure.
But in my village, no, it's typically the only people out in the middle of the street are the drunken people trying to walk straight home, but don't.
Yeah, exactly. No, I was just wondering because I was
Crisscross.
thinking back, to, like being at Godview City, Barney's, being in the street there. I was thinking back to Wits Tech, where they used to have that road that was, in the campus, and they often used
Yeah.
to have street parties there. Yeah, and
remember.
then I was thinking
Yeah.
about the New Year's that I had some years ago. We went to Dahlstrom, and we had there was a street party outside the Dahlstrom in there, and yeah, we went. It was myself, Kilmartin, and Coolthard. Off we went. We packed a tent. We camped in the caravan park there. Walked to the hotel. We had this massive New Year's Eve party in the street. Obviously half the people that were there were from Witbank or Middelburg or whatever. No, and I was just thinking. I mean, it's like it was quite a
How
cool
did you
thing.
come across that?
I don't know. I think Martin had heard about it and
Word of
said,
mouth.
"Yeah, let's give it a bash." And like I bumped into a whole lot of people that I knew.
Of course.
Yeah.
But Durban had Florida Road. They used to shut down Florida Road.
Okay.
And that used to be just pedestrianised, because that's where everyone congregated.
Yes.
And there was music, there was nightclubs along there was restaurants, bars. and it was just a nice feeling. And you'd walk up and down this road, basically,
Yeah.
and you'd bump into people, loads of people you'd know, because everyone tends to congregate in the same sort of areas. I'm not sure it's like that anymore,
Yeah.
but it was the same sort of thing.
Mm.
It,
So
I
what are
mean, it
you
should
doing
be
for
more
New
like
Year's?
that.
What are you doing for New Year's?
I
Haven't
don't.
worked it out yet.
Well, we've kind of started talking about it. I've got some options. I can do what I've done in previous years and go around to a house party,
Mm.
which is about an hour and a half's drive from here. Stay over at my mate's house. That's quite good. Play some games, drink too much, try and avoid the hedges and speed bumps on the way home.
No bush diving.
Alternative, yeah, exactly.
Mm.
They got spikes in the hedges that we found out.
Oh, really?
Anyway,
What's like to prevent people doing bush diving?
no, it's just to keep the hedge up straight.
Oh, I see.
Give it some support.
Oh, I see. I see.
And I don't know how we've not impaled ourselves over the years,
Okay.
but we live to tell the tale.
Yeah.
My other option is
Nice.
go to my local pub, where I know a bunch of people. There will be some live music or something. There always is.
So, okay, here's a question. What's your recommendation for someone that doesn't drink?
Same
have
thing.
a party on.
Well, for me, I'm just saying in the UK, there's always people that are not drinking because nobody takes chances with drink driving here.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sure they do, but not in my circles. So there's always somebody, and we've just got used to not everybody will be on the same level.
Yes.
But yeah.
Because like
People
now
just
for
do what
me,
they
I
would
mean,
do
like
normally.
New Year's is like, this is 9:30 and go to bed.
Yeah,
I
that's a
wake up.
sign of
I wake up. Yeah, don't say it. Don't say it.
yeah. Maybe let me just break my broadband signal quickly.
Yeah. All day.
Yeah, you'll get over it eventually.
Yeah. Oh, well, look, I mean, the thing is like,
What's Oleg doing?
it sounds like he's going around to my place.
You're both going to go to bed at 9:30. Okay.
Yeah. I think, look, I mean, I don't have anything planned. I haven't decided exactly what I'm going to do. Hopefully no one knows what my address is, but yeah, I think I'm having a braai at my place.
I mean, if I was close, I'd pop over.
Yeah. Well, look, the thing is, I mean, we've had good weather so far. I mean, it's like a beautiful day today, which sometimes over Christmas it's raining, overcast, whatever. So I don't know what the weather's going to be like tomorrow, but today's a beautiful day. I mean, it's the kind of day that, you want to sit around the swimming pool, start a braai.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I would expect.
Yeah, and I mean, you don't have to. I mean, you don't have to have alcoholic drinks. But what I'm saying is, so I said to Oleg, well, look, dude, if you're not doing anything, come around on my spot. We have a braai, and we'll just sit there, play some music. If the weather's great,
Chill.
we can swim. The swimming pool's there. There's a braai there. We'll slap on some meat, whatever.
Sounds awesome, dude.
Yeah,
I wish I could do that.
Yeah. And I mean, I've never had New Year's. Well, it's a long time since I've had New Year's at my spot. But I'm not like the big entertainer. And so I'll see how it goes. So that's the plan at the moment. That's the not finalized, but it'll be there.
I think it's perfectly. I would be perfectly happy having a chilled or raucous night. I think the unplanned ones tend to be the memorable ones. Yeah. But you've got to get your body ready for this. You can't just assume, I'll push on through till dawn. Who's dawn?
Yeah, exactly. Who's dawn?
You see, you're pulling amps already.
No,
and it's not even afternoon.
I know. But I mean, there's a reason
you've got to
for that.
Condition your body for this.
The last 2 nights I've been to bed after 1 o'clock and got up at 7.
This is good. This is good training.
Good training, yeah.
Don't have afternoon naps. It'll kill you.
Well, I did have an afternoon nap yesterday. Just by chance. I was sitting in the chair. I was listening to my audiobook. I was waiting for a mate of mine to come around for coffee. I closed my eyes for 5 minutes and went into Slumberland for just for 20 minutes. It was the most
Power nap.
amazing power nap ever. When my phone rang, I didn't even know where I was. I was like,
Yeah.
yeah, but
Sounds
it was
like you
good.
needed it.
It was good. It was good. But the problem is, if I happen to have a power nap or afternoon nap, which is very seldom, it's only generally when I'm feeling ill that I would even consider
Sure.
doing that. Sometimes what happens is I sleep beyond the power nap
Threshold.
critical mass.
The critical point.
Critical point.
The
And
point
then I
of
might
no
as well
return.
just sleep until tomorrow morning, because if I wake up, I feel so groggy and crap.
Oh, yeah,
and
you feel like rubbish,
No, you
and
feel
then you
like
try and get
rubbish.
to sleep that night, and you can't.
Yeah. But yesterday was it was like 30 minutes of just Slumberland.
And your phone rang because your mate's outside for the last
Yeah.
20 minutes going, "Where are you?"
Yeah. And
Well, one of my bringbacks from my Caribbean cruise. Let's bring that up again.
yeah.
Is I haven't recovered from sleep patterns. It's been so long since I've gone long haul flight because of COVID times, and I forgot what it's like. Actually, that's not true. I think I never adjusted to the time zone of the Caribbean
Okay.
because I was pretty much up for 24 hours by the time I went to bed when I got there, and then had like 4 or 5 hours sleep because my body clock was all out. Wake up, get on board, then the parties begin. Then you try and get to dinner, and then you go to casino, and then so every night I was going to bed at a different time
Yeah.
at stupid o'clock in the morning, and then up early some days. Some days I slept in, so I never actually got my body onto that time zone.
Yes.
And then I flew back, and then my body just went, you know what, screw you. Now you're dead.
Yes.
And now what I'm feeling is like I think I'm not well because come 6 o'clock at night, I'm like I'm gonna sleep. Bang.
Yeah. I know you
And then you
like
try and
waking
sleep
up
at
at like
night.
2 o'clock in the morning or something.
I've been and I've been back a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
I'm only just getting back to this now.
Yeah. So I mean,
it hit me hard.
I haven't traveled much, but the one time I went to Canada, right?
You went West Coast as well.
Yeah. Well,
That's
no.
worst.
I didn't go west. I was only.
Oh, you went east.
Yeah, I was just stayed in Toronto.
6 hour difference. Okay.
Yeah, 6 hour difference, 6-7 hour difference. But I think the first time I went there, like the jet lag, I didn't really have a problem. I had more of a problem when I came back than when I went there. But I think the second time I went there, dude, it was like the weirdest thing. I'd be in the office, and at 3 o'clock in the morning, 3 o'clock in the afternoon, dude, I could not keep my eyes open. Like I was just like, it was like my eyes were so heavy that I just didn't know what to do with myself. And then I'd like make it to like, close of office time, get back to the hotel, and then I'd go to sleep. Then I'd wake up in the middle of the night. But I'm like,
middle of the night,
fucking wide awake, dude. Wide awake. And I'm thinking like, what do I do? Like, how do I do this? But anyway, I haven't done it often, but it was the weirdest feeling. I mean, it's one thing being tired, but this one was like the system is shutting down now. It's shutting down. Like whether you like it or not, the system's shutting down. And I was like, oh no, this is like so
and the
weird.
system is starting up at 2 in the morning.
Exactly.
No.
Yeah. Anyway,
I don't enjoy it anymore.
Yeah, I can imagine.
It takes. I did a few trips to Japan where you get off the plane, and I don't sleep on planes so easily.
Yeah.
So typically, I'd had no sleep on a 14-hour flight. Get to a time zone that's like 10 hours away, 11 hours away. You get off the plane and you go into the office for a full day work.
Yeah.
Having not stepped on the plane.
Yeah.
And this was after the tsunami and all that trouble they had in 2012. So they had a power shortage because of the Fukushima power station. Yeah. So that what they used to do is take out light bulbs so they didn't use as much electricity. So every third light bulb would be lit.
Right.
The air conditioning was shut down.
Ooh.
And windows opened where you could open windows.
Yes.
This kind of thing. So the office was just dark. Well, not dark, but like
dimly lit
and hot
and
stuffy.
Yes.
And you just you got to get through. So I pretty much on my first day, spend the equivalent of £100 just from the vending machine on coffees. I'm just standing there, just feeding money, just doing this. No, it's not. It's unpleasant.
Yeah.
And the annoying thing is, on these trips, you just get used to the time zone. You go, oh, actually, this is the first day today that I feel great, and you fly back that day.
Exactly.
And then it starts again.
Yeah. Yeah, no. Anyway, but I don't think I'm going to be traveling soon. I don't know what's happening in your business, but in our business, everyone's recession planning now. So the first thing that gets cut is travel. Not that I travel that much anyway, but
it is weird because everyone's had their holidays this past year, and now recession's kicking in, and now I'm suddenly doing these flamboyant holidays, and everybody's going, well, you're a bit rich. I'm like, I haven't traveled in 3 years.
Yeah.
I've saved up for this. It's not like I'm going to put this all on the credit card.
Yeah.
Actually, at this rate, I probably have to.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, people forget.
Yeah. So
business-wise, we're not doing long haul. We're not doing a lot of long haul. Our travel budget's not been cut yet, but I suspect that will come. But I've actually got a lot of travel in January.
Oh, have you? Like before you go and leave again, or like personal travel or business travel?
Business travel and then personal travel.
Yeah,
Let me just.
exactly.
When do I go back? The 5th. So I'm pretty back. I'm back for 11 working days or something.
Yeah.
And in that, so it's effectively 2 working weeks.
Right.
I'm going to Hamburg and Madrid. In that 2-week period, I'm just looking at this. I get back from Hamburg on the Wednesday, and then I fly on holiday on the Thursday.
Okay. Well planned.
Wow. I'm gonna need to actually think about this a bit more. I'm gonna have to do a ton of washing at my destination.
Okay.
So no, it's not slowed down. When I come back from my holiday, I've still got a lot of trips to Madrid then.
Okay.
Between February and March, because of the project we got working on. So that's how we're working. If you need to travel, you need to travel.
Yeah.
You can, this is the stuff we have to be there physically for. My travel budget's not been approved, but it's not been cut either. So we'll wait and see.
Yeah.
No, I'm not. The novelty wore off years ago on business travel. So if they cut the travel, I don't care. I'm happy with that. So what are you doing for Christmas? Been tomorrow.
Okay, well, so I'm doing family dinner this afternoon. So going around to them, and then tomorrow I'm just chilling around the pool, dude. If the weather's
awesome.
good, the weather's good. If it's not, it's Netflix and chill, dude, on my own.
I like this.
Yeah, so my girls are with me at the moment. So we're doing the family thing this afternoon.
Yeah.
And then tomorrow they're going to lunch with their mom. So they'll be with me in the morning, but afternoon they're going to go for lunch with their mom. And then come back to me in the evening. And I'm just chilling on my own at home. And so audiobook. Yeah, I mean, if the weather's good, it's gonna slap some meat on the bro, have a beer, non-alcoholic, dip my toes in the water, play some vibes. Yeah, it's gonna be good.
In the days when I used to travel a lot, I always used to make a point that Christmas Day was the one day of the year I would stay at home on my own.
Oh, right.
And
How's that worked out so far?
well, during COVID, it was normal.
Yeah, mission accomplished.
This year, it's different.
Yeah. So what are you up to?
I'm going round to a mate's house.
Okay.
It's his birthday on Christmas Day.
Oh,
And thought I would go and spend time with them. So on their Christmas Day. That should be fun. And Boxing Day is my family gathering day.
all right.
So I'm going up to my sister's house, and she's north. It's a bit of a. It's not that bad a drive. It's just, and one of the reasons I always stay home on Christmas Day is because the rest of the country gets on the roads, and the road systems here don't cope well with volumes of traffic. So what should take you an hour, like tomorrow, should take me an hour and a half, hour and 20 minutes to get to my mate's house.
Yeah.
It will take me 3 to 4 hours if there's no accidents.
Right.
So this is fun. This is a great way to spend. Merry Christmas, everyone.
Yes.
Road rage, angst. Oh, sorry I'm late. Sorry I'm 3 hours late.
That's insane.
So Boxing Day will be the same.
Yeah.
A lot of time spent on the road. Get to my sister's and say hello to the family for 4 hours, and then get back on the road again. It'll be fine. This is traditional now.
Yeah.
So I just got to make sure I set off early if I can. But everybody has the same idea. It's just no easy way of doing it. I might get lucky. I got lucky last year.
And like, how do you create luck? Do you
It's hit
go? It's luck of the draw.
Yeah.
You can't create.
I mean, I would
luck.
typically send off. I would set off early anyway.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it doesn't. Everybody else has the same idea.
Yeah.
So it's more if there's accidents, because people get road rage.
Road rage. Oh gosh.
Yeah, they just start driving like maniacs because everyone's in a rush to get where they need to be.
And what's the weather like at the moment? I mean, what's Christmas Day looking like?
Wet.
Mm-hmm.
Well, when I landed, not to talk about the cruise again.
Just drop that in there.
Well, when I
Quickly.
landed, it was -4 and snowing. We had a lot of snow. We didn't have snow last year, if I remember correctly.
Okay.
So we've had snow early December this year. And we had a week, because normally it snows and then it's gone in a couple of days because it heats up again.
Yeah.
I say heats up, it gets above zero. We fought for a week to get above zero. So that snow just turned to ice.
Right.
And it just stayed around for a week. And then we went from minus whatever it was to 14 degrees. And like 14 degrees in the UK in winter, there's something wrong with our planet. That should not be happening.
Yeah.
But we're still around there. It's still.
What's the temperature today?
It's about 5 degrees at the moment. See, if it was colder, all this rain we have will just be snow. And snow is very pretty at Christmas, but it's the day after you think, oh, I hate this stuff.
Why? Because it's all slush and all that, or what?
It's slushy or it's frozen, slippy ice.
Yeah.
Yeah, today we will hit 11 degrees.
Wow.
I mean, we should be around 3 degrees.
Okay, so yeah, we're sitting at 26 at the moment. 26 degrees.
Man, this is unreal. If I'm looking right all the way through January, we're in double figures every day.
Wow.
That should not be happening. Okay, no rain today, but there is rain tomorrow. Light rain showers and a gentle breeze.
Yeah, no. What's my weather looking like? Oh, well, why are we talking about the weather, man, dude?
I don't know.
Party, man.
Yeah, we're now at the point of. I always like this time of year, not because there's two parts of the year I love and hate. Okay,
Yeah.
and then they're close to each other,
Yes.
and they both relate to Christmas,
Okay.
and it is weather related.
Ah.
No, because in the lead up to Christmas, this country does Christmas lights and all that very well. So you feel festive. Everything's lit up and pretty, and you feel festive. And it's come at the right time because gradually your days have been getting shorter and shorter and shorter since June. So you don't mind it getting dark early.
Yes.
What's our sunset? 3:30 in the afternoon. So because everything's lit up and it's pretty, and you think, oh, this is okay. Yeah, it's fine to get dark early.
Yeah.
So that's actually a very nice time of year to get through these short days and long nights. Similarly, after New Year, our days are still short and the lights are gone. And then you're like,
And it's the beginning of the year and reset everything and New Year's resolutions that aren't working out.
The long grey January where there's
Yes.
no lights. Everyone's grumpy because it's grey and dark, miserable. It's horrible.
Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, dude, I must admit, I do realize that I'm quite positively or negatively affected by the weather. Okay, so now in South Africa, dude, we don't have a problem with weather.
No.
Right? We have especially in Johannesburg, I mean, we cannot complain about the weather.
You can rely on it. You can bank.
Yeah, well, this is the thing.
Even if it rains, it's done, right?
Yeah, no, not so much anymore, dude. That's the problem.
Oh, really?
That's the point I'm getting to. Is like when we were growing up, it would be middle of summer, a beautiful, glorious, sunny day, very few clouds, and then as the afternoon would, come, you've had your braai, and you can see in the distance there the clouds are starting to build up. And 3-4 o'clock, dude, that thunderstorm's pulling in there, and it comes in with, big ominous grey clouds, and it hammers it, thunder and lightning and lots of rain, and 45 minutes later, fucking clear skies again, dude. You know what I'm talking about, right? Transvaal, summer thunderstorms.
4 o'clock, thunderstorm. Yeah.
You don't have that anymore, dude.
Oh, no.
No. Okay, now it's going to rain. It's the rainy season. Cool. It's going to rain for 3 days, dude. I mean, that's what's been happening. Is that the whole week it rains. The whole day, every day. Kind of thing. I mean, I exaggerate a little bit. But it's not sunny skies, thunderstorm in the afternoon, rinse, repeat. No, dude. It's you'll wake up in the morning and it's grey. And it'll be grey the whole day. And then maybe at 3 o'clock it'll rain. And then it rains, maybe it rains a little bit. It doesn't clear up.
Sounds like when I used to live in Durban.
Yeah.
And geez, those summers are unbearable. I mean, another glorious day in paradise. Well, you're trying to find the nearest source of aircon. So it was sunny and it was great. But you get to the point where you're like, I can't take this heat anymore.
Yes.
I can't take the sunshine. So then when they forecast rain, it typically was there for 2 or 3 days. And depending on the season.
Yeah.
But you're like, oh, yes, grey and rain. What a respite. I look forward to I love those days.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So what I found now is, because I mean, our winters there's no rain.
It's dry. Yeah.
It's dry. It's sunny days, every day it's cold. It's fucking hot in your car, but it's cold outside, but there's not a cloud in the sky kind of thing. Yeah, I mean, that still carries on, and we still have, the odd grey day or whatever. But it's cool. It's not the end of the world. You can dress nicely, warmly, and like you curse a bit because you in and out the car.
Every hour you take a layer off.
Yeah, it's flipping you in the car. It's like super hot. You get out the car. It's super cold. Not super cold, but I mean, it's cold relative. That's all cool. But this summer thing where it's grey, it's overcast for a couple of days, dude, I can feel. I'm grumpy, dude. I'm like super grumpy. Like today, it's like a beautiful day, dude. I feel energized. I'm like, let's do it. Let's do it. When it's grey, I'm like, flip this, dude. I want to climb on the couch, turn on Netflix, and I just want to watch a movie.
Yeah. Well, what do we used to call it? BMW.
What? Baby making weather, what?
Yeah.
No, they call it Netflix and chill today. Dude,
it sounds...
Here's a question for you.
Go on.
Here's a question for you. Okay, so Netflix and chill, you know what that means?
Go on.
On the Urban Dictionary. I mean...
No, you're going to tell me now.
So basically it means like if teenagers are saying, like the mother says to the daughter, hey, like, what are you doing today? No, I'm going over to my boyfriend's place and we're going to Netflix and chill. Right?
Oh, I see.
It's an excuse for, well, they're going to have some fun, right? They're not watching Netflix and chilling on the couch.
What did you watch?
And let me make 100% sure that I'm not talking shit. And I go to Urban Dictionary. And I say Netflix.
It sounds like you've fallen foul of this terminology.
Sure. No. I'm getting to my point now, dude. Okay, so Netflix and chill, according to the Urban Dictionary, says something you tell your parents when you want your boyfriend or girlfriend to come over and you go forth and multiply.
And yeah.
Hey, mom, my boyfriend's coming over to watch Netflix and chill. Okay, sweetie, have lots of fun.
Oh, that's endorsement.
Yeah. Well, right. So, and then it says when he says he wants to Netflix and chill, right? You understand what he's talking about.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. And I mean, I'm just going to say it as it is here. It says Netflix and chill. Netflix and chill is a slang word used to say you want to fuck. Right.
Scrump.
Okay. Here's the question. What happens when you see a corporate communication come out?
No.
Where they are promoting a podcast and they're saying, no need to Netflix and chill. Watch this latest or listen to this latest podcast. What do? Do you point out to the corporate communication of that company and say, listen, do you actually understand what you've just said?
You can't say anything because there is a legitimate, real interpretation of it. So you don't have to. It's a corporate environment, so there you have to think with a corporate hat on. Unless, of course, you're in the industry of sex toys and other related...
Yeah, you're like one of those companies. Adult entertainment.
Adult entertainment, yes.
Yeah. No, well, look, the thing is, I understand that you would think that, like you say, that there's a legitimate interpretation of that if you take the words literally and not figuratively, right?
Yeah.
But I mean, the thing is that that doesn't make it right. If the general consensus is, this is what it means. Even if there's a legit explanation, a legit understanding of it.
Does everybody know that this is the Urban Dictionary slang? Or is it few?
This is the problem with the world that we live in. If I was to say something that had a racial undertone to it, and I will say, well, I didn't know it meant that, it doesn't excuse the comment. Right? I can't. Ignorance is not an excuse.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So
I
I'm
see.
just saying, like, I saw this thing come across, and I thought, I'm not engaging on that. But the thought crossed my mind is like, what do you do? What is the right thing to do? And I mean, I don't think there's a right or wrong answer. But I'm just saying, like, you see this thing come across a corporate email, and you go, because I mean, if it had a racial undertone, a negative racial undertone, someone would say something, right?
Yes.
Someone would say, listen, you do understand that's actually means this.
Yeah, but look at the history of the country. the racial undertones is a big thing. Whereas a bit of nookie on the side,
no. Well, I suppose
it doesn't have the same connotation.
Yeah, but I suppose I use the racial analogy because we understand that it can be loaded. So, like, for instance, okay, here's
my point is that you got to weight them differently, right?
Yeah, no, I understand. Well, you see, my view is that you should weight everything equally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd leave it alone.
No.
I'd just snigger.
Dude, I'm not touching that with a fucking barge pole. But I'm just saying, it just
you don't want
to
be that guy.
Came through. It was thought provoking in the sense like, like, what does one do about that? Does one say, you do understand what people might interpret that as meaning? I'm not saying that they do, but the risk is there. Yeah. I don't know. I'm just, as a person that if I was to work in that company and the company's got a value system and this communication comes out, if you're a person that's in that company and subscribing to the values of the company and this theoretically
undermines that.
Well,
I suppose if it affected you
negatively, personally,
then you would say something. Whereas at the moment, it's just entertaining.
So what was that thing there? There was something, and I suppose this is also something that's caught my interest. There was something that, so overshare. I was watching Meghan and Harry on Netflix. Okay, so she's telling a story about when she was like 12 or 13, and there was a commercial that came out about some dishwashing detergent. Something like that. And she had then, it was sexist, put it that way. It was saying that only women wash dishes, as an example. Yeah. And she then wrote a letter to the company and said, listen,
Did she at 12 years old?
Yeah, and then they changed the commercial. Because she said, look, it affected me, not if, I think it was wrong, and they made a change, okay? Because like you say, she affected her personally. Then the other thing that came out the other day was old Jeremy Clarkson made a comment about Meghan and the documentary, and he made some like really, really dodgy comments. And apparently they got 12,000 complaints just on that one thing column that he wrote, which apparently was more than or equal to the number of complaints they'd got for the entire 2021. Just on that one article. So, yeah, so I was just wondering, like, what do I, like, I mean, this is the way I think. Is there someone in the community that saw that email that might have taken offense to that email that doesn't feel comfortable to speak up about it? Whereas you've got someone that's identified a potential problem, it's not really affected by it, but has the ability to raise the issue.
Who's at fault? Is Jeremy Clarkson at fault, or is the newspaper at fault?
Yeah, I don't think they should never have let that get into the newspaper. The editor should have pulled that.
But this is the Sun newspaper.
Oh, yeah. There you go.
So a tabloid, and they like this kind of drama because it sells papers. So they'd rather put it in there and then retract it and apologize later. Damage is done. They've sold more newspapers.
Jeez, dude.
Yeah, I mean, Jeremy Clarkson has apologized in his clumsiness. He's done a Clarkson.
Yeah,
I mean, yeah. So this stuff happens, but this is normal. You know, we've got so many. If you think back 100 years, this stuff would never have happened because we didn't have social media. We didn't have all this ways of communication and sharing, and the rate of technology changes and cultural changes wasn't as speed that has happened now. Whereas 100 years ago, there might be some change in one generation. Now we're having such vast changes, you can almost put it down to decades. So in the space of 3 generations of a family, the cultural changes in the environment we live in have changed exponentially.
Yeah.
So that the older and the younger generation are completely different. So we're going to get, because of that and the types of social media and the ways we communicate, we're so vastly different with outlooks on life and what's acceptable or not, or we're going to get the stuff every week. And
true.
I'm not condoning it. I'm not surprised by it.
But I mean, look, you make a very valid point about the generational gap between, like grandparents.
Megan and Jeremy.
Yeah, but I mean, just think about in your family, like, your mother, your kids, or whatever, like your sister, her kids, or whoever, you just think about the generational gap that exists. First of all, people are living longer, right? Kids are more engaged at a younger age than they were previously. It's not you sit at the table and you speak when you're spoken to kind of thing, and you go to, kind of thing. Plus, you've got this technology and everything that's taking off exponentially, and you've got access to information and different views, and you just understand what the complexity is, or like you say, the gap between that generation, the older generation, and the younger generation of today. I mean, it's crazy.
I noticed how much I had changed when I visited South Africa years ago. I've been living in the UK for a while, and I'll give the example. So my mother married this guy who was brought up in the old South Africa and had strong views on racial equality, and when I grew up, that was quite the norm. But then over time, our eyes are open to what's been going on and how things were and how they need to change. So we've changed, we've adapted, we've evolved. But the older generation went, it's just the way it is. That's the way I am. And I didn't realize how far I'd deviated, or how far I'd come from where I was, until I visited South Africa. And we went, I don't know where we went. There was a guy who had to open a gate at a place we were visiting. And he was sitting in a hut, not really watching the gate. And my stepfather just leaned out the window and hurled abuse at him. And I was a bit, geez, that's a bit harsh. All you got to do is, hey, we're over here. Can you open the gate?
Yeah.
Not go off down this racial speech that he had pre-programmed.
Yeah.
And I was, I just sat back. I went, wow, did not expect that, but I should have, because that's the way they are. But that's not an excuse.
Yeah.
And that's just one generation. Now add another generation to that, and we are fast deviating from the family norms that we had when we grew up.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I mean, and that's for good reason, but it's just, you wouldn't have seen this so long ago. So naturally we're going to create these incidents because that's the way people have been programmed.
Yeah.
Not
and
an
I
excuse,
suppose,
It's going to happen every day, and it
Yeah, and
needs
I
to.
suppose it's the way that we deal with them that makes the difference. You know, like
But isn't that part of what the Megan series is about? Not that I've watched it.
yeah,
You know, from what I can gather, because I will watch it at some point. I just don't like the way they're going, making money off this. I'm sure they are. I'm making assumptions here. Look, if there is an inherent problem with the royal family because they're stuck in their ways, it's the same as what that story I just said. They Things have to evolve. The children, the Harrys of the world, have evolved,
yeah,
are evolving because they have to. They're
yeah,
forced to
yeah,
because not just from where the family they come from, because that's what society's doing. And if you've got this old establishment that's not changing with the times, then naturally
yeah,
the stuff's going to come out and happen.
yeah.
So
So
it's
I haven't
forcing the
watched.
royal family to change.
I haven't watched the whole thing yet, so I don't know what the sort of like end game is. But I
Yeah.
don't, or what the end of the story is. But um, to the point that I'm at now, there's a lot of stuff it runs a lot deeper than the race thing. Because I mean, like from the outside, I mean, I don't follow the royals a lot. I don't read the newspapers. I don't watch the news a lot. But obviously, I do come across stuff that, whether it's something on my social feed or the channels that I use to get an idea of what's happening in the world. Like you got the sense that there was this like sort of racial thing going on, and that is there definitely, but it's not the only thing. There's something else going on there that's started to happening. Okay, to the point the episode that I got to, something else was happening there. I don't know what the sort of outcome of that is yet, but it's not only related to the racial thing. And it links back to Princess Diana and the way that she was treated.
Yeah.
So it's almost like, so I'm just going to call it from my viewpoint, only my viewpoint, on my limited knowledge of the whole situation and the fact that I haven't watched the whole thing. There's part of the, almost like the intention of bringing this into the open is that it's happened before and it wasn't dealt with when it happened, and now it's happening again, and now it's time it stops. So what that is, well, you can watch it, we can have a discussion about it. I've got my views, but there is this thread that links back to Princess Diana and what happened.
Yeah, I'm sure. And I'm sure there's other stuff we'll find about. I think you're right, though. What is the end game here? Why are they doing this?
Well, look, I suppose on the face of it, my thing is, okay, well, look, they chose to walk away from the royal family. They've given up their titles and their duties. And along with that, they've given up their financial support. I don't know how they make their money now. How do they make their...
Well, they do interviews with Oprah, and they do Netflix, they're probably making more money than they had before.
Well, this is it. So, I mean, if you Harry and you Meghan, okay, Harry, what is his like sort of background? Well, he was in the military. He was in the royal family.
Yeah, imagine his CV if he goes for a job.
Yeah, like he's done a lot of, and if you watch the documentary, you can see he's done a lot of sort of like work in Africa. He's come to Lesotho.
Oh yeah, he loves Lesotho. Yeah.
So he's got that sort of like charity, which I suppose was part of his job as the royal family. But like, what does he fall back?
They all have charities. They're all head of various charities.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that also becomes part of the problem, eh? In this documentary, you'll see that becomes part of the problem. But the thing is, like, what does Harry fall back on? Okay, so, he's a helicopter pilot, so I suppose he can go fly helicopters or that kind of thing. But like Meghan, what is she? She's an actress, right?
Mm-hmm.
She's got connections. Where do you generate income these days? Well, you create it online. You create a document series, you create some social presence or whatever. So why... I mean, it's almost like You expected that they would create a documentary. Why wouldn't they? Because Meghan's got the contacts. She falls back on what she knows.
I mean, they could have kept this light-hearted, like a sneaky peek in behind the scenes of the royal family. Or you could go full depth and expose the royal family's flaws. It's a very powerful family.
Yeah.
So,
but I mean, I suppose is it any worse than someone shedding light on Jeffrey Epstein?
I don't know. I'd have to watch the series to make up my mind on that.
Or
I just look at it from
Victoria's Secret, right?
But what about Victoria's Secret?
Well, that's the thing, is that Jeffrey Epstein was involved with Victoria's Secret.
Oh, okay.
And he was, and I mean, I didn't know this. And there are some documentaries on Netflix and Hulu and whatever that go into the Jeffrey Epstein thing. Terrible.
Okay.
Then in that, you see there's a link to Victoria's Secret. And then a little bit later comes another documentary comes out on Victoria's Secret specifically. And then you see like, hey, this is like seriously dodgy. And like this kind of stuff needs to be put out there so people actually know what happened. So I suppose, like, is the royal family off limits when it comes to that kind of stuff? Exposing this kind of stuff?
Well, this is what we're finding out.
Yeah.
Historically, you're allowed to say anything about anything in this country, except if it undermines the monarchy.
Yeah.
Or the Queen specifically in those days, and now the King. So you could talk about princes, but you can't talk about the reigning monarch.
Yeah, sure.
That's just, but I suppose we're going through the same as what happens in all countries, is where people go, what is the point of us having this royal monarch at the head of this country, even though they're not making parliamentary decisions, but they are still powerful and they can still invoke. I don't know how to put this. There's still a strong following. There's still a negative following as well.
Sure.
And there's the balance. At the moment, there's more positive than negative. It's a part of this country. But then, are they representing the country, or they are just being a monolithic
tourist attraction?
But they generate millions. They do a lot for charities. They're a good icon of Britain. Now we're putting that under threat.
Well, I mean, but that's the question. Are you putting it under threat?
Well, we're not making it stronger.
Well, the thing is if you take the shit out and you leave the good, you've just sold it to me. Okay, well, they generate a lot of money. They're part of the, their history. They, this is what they represent. They do a lot of charity work. Okay, that's all the good stuff.
Maybe I've just
keep the good stuff and get rid of the bad
marketing.
Stuff. Sorry?
Maybe I've just succumbed to the royal marketing machine. And they apparently, all the stuff I've just said is just exactly what we've been indoctrinated to say. Yeah. I mean, coming back to the question, should they have? I don't know. Let me watch the series and we'll come back.
Yeah, sure.
I'd rather watch a movie.
No, well, look, dude. Listen, dude. I am not someone that follows the royals. I'm not into.
No, but this is why it's good for me.
However,
because I'm surrounded by this stuff.
Yeah.
They're the royal family for many countries as well. It's not just. It's not just the UK.
Yeah, you see. You'll see. Watch the series, dude. Watch the series.
Okay.
And I think. Look, I mean, I don't know how to end, so I can't really say. Was it good or bad for the world or whatever? Did it make the world a better place now that we know what's going on there? And there's an action plan to address it, and there's already been some positive improvements based on the outcomes of all the stuff that this has been exposed or whatever. Who knows? Time will tell. I mean, I don't know, but I suppose just my curiosity about okay, well, what's this thing about? Let me get all the information. Well, all the information. Let me get some more information about what's happening so that I can actually have a conversation and have an opinion on
The royals
the
make the
thing.
news quite frequently for poor doings, and they try and balance this out with good marketing, which is what Harry's brother is spending so much time doing. You know, he is that same generation as Harry. He's seen the same stuff, and he's gone
Yeah.
a different route. Perhaps because he's next in line to the throne,
Yeah.
and he's got an obligation that way. But yeah, the two boys have, from what we can tell, have fallen out. Anyway, they're in the news
Well,
regularly, and there was a thing.
you'll see where that comes, how that
Okay.
happens in the documentary.
But we talk about the royal. There's different layers of royals. There's a hierarchy here.
Mm.
You know, Harry was in the front, the top group,
Yes.
with his brother.
Yes.
There are other royals that do other things and other events. Like we've had one in recent weeks where they had a garden party, and one of the lesser royals asked this. Sorry, there was the head of this charity who was a black woman, and she was dressed in an African sort of dress, from what I can gather. Anyway, the royal asked, "Well, so where are you from?" And the woman said, "I can't remember where she's from. That's just a place in England." And the royal was like, "Well, no. But really, where are you from? Where are you from originally?"
Yes.
And it was like, "Well, my parents came from that village in England." No. Where are you from originally? You know, and it kept pushing the point. This woman got upset, went to the newspaper, said, "This has happened. The royals shouldn't be asking these kind of questions. I am British. Just because I have an ethnic background that I still support, which is encouraged in this country, why do I have to be subjected to this, being put on the spot and made to feel like I'm not supposed to be here?"
Yeah.
And so on. Like racial tones. And she's right.
Yeah.
She's right. I mean, I feel that, and I'm this color.
Yes.
And I get asked, "Where are you from?" That accent, I can pick up an accent. "Where are you from?" "Australia." And then I hit them, and it, no,
Yeah.
no. They say, "Well, where are you from?" Then I say, "South Africa," and they go, "Oh, right. So you're South African." And it's like this that straight away I'm put in
In
a
a box.
pigeonhole,
Yeah.
in a box, and that's how I will be referenced and referred to. And it's like,
Yeah.
okay, fine.
Y-
Without even exploring, naturally, first step, bang, I pigeonholed you
Yeah. Yeah. So I mean,
without knowing anything about me.
yeah, but I mean, is it? I think there's this thing about heritage. Like, what is your
Yeah.
heritage? Like, is it? If I ask something, and I suppose obviously it's about the way you ask it and all that kind of stuff. And I mean, I'm not saying that there's a right or wrong, but I'm like
Mm,
saying, okay, well, okay, I live in South Africa. I'm in Africa.
hmm
I'm a white man,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Like sometimes I'm told that I don't belong here, right?
Yeah.
But I'm born here. My parents are born here. My grandparents are born here.
Yeah.
Okay, like, but I'm South African. I'm African. Why can't I call myself African? Oh, because I'm not black. Only black people are
Oh.
African. Uh,
I used to do that. I used to say, I'm Zulu. I was
Yeah.
born in Zululand.
Yes.
And they go,
Yeah.
"No, you're not."
No, but I mean, this is the thing. I mean, this is the thing. I mean, like, where do you belong? I suppose everyone wants to belong somewhere. And I suppose you belong where you live, really. You want to belong in the immediate moment that you're in. You want to feel like you belong. You've got some connection to the place that you're at, the people that you're with, or whatever. But you still have some sort of heritage. Like what's your tradition? What is it like? What are you doing on Christmas? What do you do for Christmas? Well, okay, I come from a Christian background, so I'm celebrating
Yeah.
Christmas. Oh, you are Indian, but you're a Christian Indian. Okay, so you're also celebrating Christmas. Oh, you Indian, but you Hindu. So okay, or you Jewish, or you Muslim, or whatever.
Yeah.
Okay, if I'm asking the question, maybe it's the way that I ask the question. What is it? Am I taking an interest in who you are so that I can understand where you come from, so that I can treat you in a way that is respectful? Okay, or is it like you don't belong here? What are you doing? Where are you from? You sound different. You look different. You dress different. Why? Where are you from? Where are you from?
But
Where are you
but
from?
it's a minority, right? It tends to hit the minorities, and
Well,
I okay. So I grew up, as we know, in South
yes.
Africa, where it was the Afrikaners. They used to say, "Hey, Roinek,
Yeah, Soapy.
yeah, what are you doing here?
Yeah,
Soti." There
soap,
you go,
soap
Soatpeel.
bill. Soap bill. Yeah,
You got one
exactly.
foot in England and one foot in South Africa. So even through the army, when I did the national service, it was reinforced there. You English guys, you come here and you mess things up. You're not feeling wanted, inclusive, or anything like that.
Mm,
Now we would just, get on with it. Screw you guys. But in the UK, it's the same. Oh, you're South African. You're not from here. But it's
yeah.
not just me. If I look at the Indian community, same thing happens there. The Caribbean community, same thing's happening there. It's just this people feel the need to compartmentalize all these different ethnic. Isn't
But
even
like for
ethnic.
me,
It's
it's
more than that.
about, you know what? And it is so complicated. And different people have different views on it. But I'm just like, just embrace who we
But people,
are, like
but
where we
that's not
came
natural.
from, and let's embrace where we are now. Like, let's just be in communion with one another, be in community with one another. Sure, tell me where you're from. Tell me where your ancestors. What's your
No, but
heritage?
that's you. No, I agree. But that's you. That's not normal for most
I
people.
know, I know. I'm like, uh, I understand that,
In my
and
village, I've been living here for 16 or 17 years or something in this
yeah,
village. And a lot of people I know in this village didn't take to me initially. I was an outsider. A lot of these guys and girls have actually been born here, lived here in this area, maybe just this village, for generations. I'm an outsider coming into their village. They don't like this.
sure.
The fact that I'm not even part of England. I mean, if I was from the north part of England and moved to the village, I'd probably have the same reception, but they'll be accepting of me eventually. Because I'm coming from outside of the country, it takes a bit longer, but eventually they accept me. It's
Yeah, but
almost
the
like
thing
I
is,
have to prove myself.
no, but here's the problem, dude. You came from a country that is still part of the Commonwealth. So why should you be?
That's it's neither here nor there.
No. But you see, that's the thing, is that this whole thing of the Commonwealth. What's the
Mm.
point? If you part of you came from a country that's part of the Commonwealth, like 90% of the color, non-white people in, I say 90%. I mustn't use percentages. A large majority of the people that are in England that are of color have come from Commonwealth countries.
Correct. Yes.
Right. So they are part of the Commonwealth. Like so like, it's like, where do you draw the line of, like you say that, okay, you're an outsider. Okay, but it's not like you came from a country that wasn't part of the Commonwealth. You
You
came
you
from the
talk
Commonwealth.
differently. You look different. You dress differently. You got different language,
But
different religion. You're an
yeah.
outsider. We can't adjust to that.
So any person that comes from the north of England that goes to the south of England, it's got a different accent. It's got the same problem, or what?
Um, that there's levels of acceptance. The person, if you came from a different village 10 miles away and you arrived in the pub on a Friday, everyone would go, "Where are you from? You're not from around here." But we're more welcoming to that person. We'll warm to that person faster than somebody coming from the north of the country.
Yeah.
And then somebody from outside of the country, it just takes even a bit longer. But eventually people get used to them and just get on with it.
Mm.
Their first
But I mean,
the
this is why
first
it's so
reaction
complicated.
that's been indoctrinated is you look after your own
Yeah.
village,
Yeah, that's true.
your own clan.
Yeah, and I suppose this is the thing, is that it's all about being comfortable to have these conversations without taking offense. And if someone does offend you, feeling comfortable to say to them, "Hey, listen, like what you just said now, I felt offended by, but I choose not to be offended, but I'm just letting you know. And then that person then says, actually, thank you very much for bringing that to my attention. I will be more careful of how I represent myself when it comes to that in the future.
I don't think it would go that way.
No, not at all. Not at all.
I just I do get frustrated because as soon as they pigeonhole me, I can see their body language and expression, and then I tend to just go, well, screw you, and I'm off. I don't have time for that.
Yeah,
but if I have to endure them, I just go, yeah. So my father's a Yorkshireman and my mother's from Hampshire.
Yeah.
And then you can see their brains going,
Like,
well, hang on.
How's that possible?
So why are you South African and not British?
Yeah.
Because I was born in South Africa.
Yeah.
And they're like, and then I'll carry on. You can see them going, hang on, this does not work. You've got English parents. And it's like, oh, yeah. My father was in the British Army for 14 years, 13 years, whatever it was.
Yeah.
And I'll just lay this stuff on. It's useless information, but just to see their faces go, I'm going to blow.
Yeah. No, but I mean,
the fact remains I have an accent, and for that reason, I'll always be different.
Yeah, but think about this, dude. Dial it back. Arrive in your village and just talk like them. Have the same accent as them. How would you have been received differently?
I'm not from the village, so initially...
No, fair enough. You're not from the village, but...
No, but that's the first thing. After you've exchanged niceties about the weather for 2 days, where are you from is the next question. Oh, you're that part of the county. Or you're in the next county. Or you're in the next part of the country. It's always that.
Layered. Yeah. No, I find it interesting. I'm just fascinated how we make assumptions or build this picture of people. And I mean, we all do it. I mean, it's like, I can't say that there's anyone that doesn't do it, including myself. You make assumptions about people based on what they look like, how they speak, where they say they come from, etc., etc., etc. And I'm going to send you a link to a TED talk where the guy is encouraging us to please be inauthentic. Because, like you're always talking about, hey, be authentic or whatever.
Yeah.
I'll send you the TED talk. You must watch it. Just basically the guy's talking about this kind of thing. It's like just how our brain is constantly creating this picture of people. Yeah. And he was just saying, by making these small little changes, effectively being inauthentic.
Does it make other people become more inauthentic?
No, it just shows you how you can change it by just changing a few things, by understanding how the brain works in terms of...
I do this as well, because my accent's changed. It's softened a lot. I speak slower since I got to England.
Okay.
Which is remarkable, because when the English go abroad and they don't speak a second language, they speak, if somebody doesn't understand, they speak slower and louder. So when I got to England and I realized that people were struggling to follow my accent and the way I spoke, I've actually slowed down.
Slower and spoke louder.
It's ridiculous. Yeah.
No, crazy.
So with South Africans, when they move to this village where I am, I come across them every now and then. They don't go out. They don't do anything. They live out. Yeah, they go to work. They go straight home. They never venture forth. They might go walk a dog in a field somewhere. So that's why I don't come across them that easily. But when we have the things like I spoke about last time, which was we shut down our high street for the Christmas fair. So you walk down and you can hear them. You can hear those accents.
Right.
So as I'm talking to a mate, I would switch my accent to a very strong South African. I go, how's that day? All this kind of crap.
And
then the guys I'm walking with are like, who the hell are you?
Yeah, exactly.
It's good fun.
Yeah.
Dude, we've been at this an hour and a half.
I know. It's fun shooting the breeze, and there's so much
Because
to talk about. I wanted to talk about AI. I wanted to talk about
we've done nothing on our usual topics.
no Formula One. Or not?
Yeah, I don't want to talk about Formula One.
No, we weren't talking about. But just talking about the AI thing. I mean, all of a sudden things are exploding. A company called OpenAI has been creating some AI engines generating pictures, like this Chat GPT. I don't know if you heard about it. It's basically a toolkit, some language toolkit that's been trained, and you can ask it questions and it will give you answers. And they say it's going to challenge Google search engines. In the future, it can write code for you. You can ask it, please, can you write this code for me? It writes code for you in different languages, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So just to put it out there was a guy that put together a children's storybook, illustrated storybook, over a weekend using these tools. So you got the AI to generate the pictures, the AI to generate the story.
Wow.
And published it, whatever. I think he used 3 AI tools to create the story in a weekend. So, I mean, I've been reading a lot about people's comments about all these kind of things. I was reading an article yesterday where it's another company. They've generated this AI tool that, because you got these AI tools that can generate art, but it's like very sort of like fantasy kind of stuff. You put in a couple of keywords, it generates like a picture for you, and it's like some sort of artistic impression of the words, the tags that you've put in there. Pretty good. I mean, it's good fun to play with and all that kind of stuff. Okay, but like, where's the commercial thing? Because during this whole sort of hype cycle thing, everyone's all hyped about this, and it's cool. Okay, but what's the actual utility of it? Okay, the hype will die down, and then we'll get to the reality. But I was reading this article yesterday, this photographer, and his business is creating branding content for companies. So like kind of stuff for social media, print media, that kind of stuff, like brochure kind of stuff. So like stock footage kind of thing with models and wearing the clothes and whatever. But what he does is he takes like a couple of models, people, and he takes several photographs of them in a studio. So maybe like, green screen kind of thing, whatever.
Sure.
Different angles, whatever. And he pumps these pictures into this AI engine. And then that AI engine then allows him to reuse that model in any scene, in any like sort of pose or whatever that he wants. Right? So then he's got this engine that creates the scene, and he's got the engine that creates the model, can specify what scene, what clothes they're wearing, all that kind of stuff, without taking a photograph of the model again. Like in other words, he's created his 3D model of the person, if you want to call it that, and then he can just put that person into any scene, and he can create the contents for his client in a short space of time. But obviously he's done a lot of work up front, taking the photos, generated the AI model, trained the AI model with this, and he says he doesn't only use one AI engine to generate this stuff, but so you get the sense that there's a fair amount of work that's in it to get it set up. But once he's got it, to create something is like pretty simple, pretty straightforward, time-wise. So reading the comments, it's like, okay, this is the end of creativity, and all these people are going through this, and I'm thinking about, okay, well, what was that transition from film camera to digital camera to Photoshop to, all these kind of things? Is it the same thing? Maybe it's a little bit more accelerated. I don't know. And at
the time we said, well, that's the end of that. And that's the end of that. Like when we moved to digital, it was like the end of Kodak. Well, actually what Kodak did was it Kodak? They reinvented themselves for on the digital side for X-rays and things like that.
Sure.
So
Sure.
so I think it's a natural thing, but it is a bit scary because this is now, it's not just a technology change that we have to embrace, but well, it's been imposed on us. But now we're starting to think, well, this is now going to take people's livelihoods away.
Yeah,
Because
well, you
if
see, this is the thing.
if the AI is going to take and do things what 50 people did is now going to be done by a computer, you got 50 people out of work. That's what people are going to start being scared about. The computers will rule the world.
Yeah.
But I think it's interesting. I mean, the application of it will create new jobs, new ways of working. We will be doing different things in 20 years' time.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think
the AIs can't do everything.
just takes on another form.
It's scary though. If you chose to become a model, you know, potentially you're going to have a lot more competition because it's less photo shoots. Or if you're a fashion photographer, well, same thing. You know, your vocation is under threat. If you're an AI developer, there's not enough of those in the world. Everybody should be retraining to think about that.
Sure. Yeah.
Interestingly, and I haven't had a chance to look into this, but this week in the House of Commons in the UK, they had their first AI-generated speech.
Oh.
So it was the first time an AI speech was delivered in the House of Commons. Everything said in the House of Commons is captured as an event, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'd be interested to see whether it was just a 2-minute thing or just for a bit of fun and to demonstrate to the politicians that this stuff exists and what the capabilities are, or was it actually done to have a perspective and a point of view to push forward a new law or whatever it is. I'm going to need to look into this a bit more.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, so I think if anything, I mean, this creates more opportunities, reduces some needs for skills in terms of numbers, but it creates a whole new opportunity in terms of from a psychological point of view, from a creative point of view, from an ethical point of view, because ethics is going to become a big thing.
Sure.
So I know like the first thing is, okay, but now people are going to lose their jobs because this thing is going to replace them. But it's creating many other jobs as well. And I think the reality of the world is that change is unfortunately the one thing that you cannot get away from. And what you have to do is, and maybe something like COVID has taught us this thing, if nothing else, is that things can change very quickly. And if you want to survive, or if you want to be successful, or whatever you want to call it, what umbrella you want to put on it, you want to be happy, you want to be whatever, you have to accept that the world is changing a lot quicker than it was before. And the best way to participate in that is to embrace the change. And
I think the rate of change is what freaks people out the most.
Absolutely.
So on that, I think for our next episode, we should wind back to a year ago and listen to the podcast we had and what we were talking about then. And let's see how much has changed in a year.
Okay. So there's a possibility that we might do another online one before we do a face-to-face one,
right? I mean, there's a few weekends left, right?
Yeah. Okay, so what I will do, seeing that I'm on holiday and I've got nothing else to do, and I've got a long to-do list, what I will do is I will take you up on that. Challenge accepted. I will go back to episodes that were generated around about this time.
Yeah, Christmas last year kind of thing.
And I will see if I can take out some snippets, and I'll set it up that we can try and play the snippets while we do the episode.
Yeah,
we can do some commentary on that or whatever. I think what we'll have to do is maybe just have from a technical point of view, is maybe just have a hookup before we have
see
that.
if technology's going to work.
Because I'm aware that sometimes you can't hear what the stuff is. So we'll just have to see how
or
we
the
work
sound
around.
doesn't come out in the broadcast stream. Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll just have to work
Yeah.
that out.
Fine with that. I just change is constant.
Yeah.
It's the rate of change that freaks us out. So how fast are things actually changing?
Yeah.
AI has been around for ages, but the application of AI is only just starting.
Well, this is the thing. I mean, just to put this in perspective, when I did my BSc in the early 2000s, right, one of my subjects was artificial intelligence at third year. The kind of things that, so that's what? Say 2006.
Yeah.
16 years ago.
16 years ago.
16 years ago. They were talking about this stuff. In that, and I've every year, I deregistered once or twice because I just got busy at work and I thought, this is quite a heavy subject. Let me deregister. I'll do it next year. And every time I did that, I got a new textbook with little, but it didn't update that much. It was a different author. Interestingly enough, a lot of the algorithms that were generated were actually created in the 70s. Right. And basically what they've done is they've just reused these things. And I speak.
Well, we've not had the compute power for it to work effectively until now.
Well, that's one of the biggest reasons why AI has not taken off.
Who can afford a supercomputer?
Exactly. Cost. From a corporate point of view, if you are going to create a AI model you're going to train data, it might take you a month to train that model. But then you're done.
It's got to keep learning though.
But you might only retrain it in 6 months to a year's time. Right? Because you would need more data. Let's say you're training a model, right? What's the best thing to do is use all your data. 70% of it you're going to use to train the model, and the other 30% you're going to use to test your model, right?
Okay, yeah.
Because you've got known values. So 70% you trained it, 30% you tested it to see what your confidence is in the results that you're getting.
Do I invest further? Do I rely? How much can I rely on this?
Yeah, and then so anything above 75% confidence is okay. We're in the ballpark. But then as you continue working, you're generating more info, right?
So that 70% gets
higher. In a year's time, you redo the exercise. Train it on 70% of your data, test it on 30%.
And trends have changed.
Yeah. So what I'm saying is, but from like what you were saying, in terms of capital outlay, in terms of the equipment that you need to use to generate that model in the first place, you're not using it every day. So how do you justify dropping big money on a supercomputer that you're going to use once a year? Okay, maybe you use it more often, but just say once a year. So that's the biggest thing. And then hence came cloud computing. Then people can say, well, I can rent compute time.
On demand.
Ding, ding, right? So that's it. So, what is it? It's the compute power, accessibility in terms of connectivity, and then also data sets, dude.
I mean, yeah, if you've got a massive data set, how long does it take to teach?
Yeah.
It could take years, in which case by then the data's too old and the model's too old because it's now outdated because it's taken 8 years. So it's not a worthwhile venture. But I think we're at the start of this.
Yeah, well, and this is the thing, is that what they're saying is like, we say, oh my God, look at where, guys are saying, dude, we've only scratched the surface of what is capable of being done. So, like,
scary.
Well, the scariest part is that we actually don't even know what the next step is going to be. Because before you could say, okay, how can we use AI? Big data, okay, what's the typical, medical, radiology, identifying a particular condition. The guy's got TB, the guy's got pneumonia, the guy's got bronchitis, the guy's got emphysema, whatever, they got this big data set of all these scans that have been done before that have already been diagnosed, and they can pump that into this engine. They can create this model. They can teach this thing. They train it. And then the next time you present a x-ray to this thing, it says, bronchitis. Right? That's like the natural Who thought that someone was going to go and create some chat engine where you can just go and say, hey, listen, can you please give me a 7-day paleo eating plan? And it's just going to spit it out to you and say, well, actually, can you do this? Like, who knew that someone was going to write a children's book over a weekend using AI tools? No one anticipated that was going to be what you could use it for.
But it's maybe not one of the first things that we thought we would recognize. But I think AI has been around for a long time, as we've established. But it's been in movies.
Yeah.
And I was thinking Superman 3, which was 1970, late 70s, somewhere around there.
Yeah.
That had a supercomputer that just became self-sufficient because it learned and adapted and learned some more and adapted. Eventually, it just took over everything.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what we've been indoctrinated with.
Yeah,
that
true.
That was 40 odd years ago.
And how many of those things have come to fruition?
When I visit you, I will tell you about what we're doing in Las Vegas.
Okay.
I can't really talk about it on here.
Okay.
But it's along those lines, but it's actually pretty awesome. It's not a scary thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway.
Okay.
We digress.
Oh wow!
Again,
jeez. We only scratched the surface. Yeah. No, it's exciting stuff. Yeah. Exciting stuff.
Speaking of changes and how people have adapted, in 1901, people were allowed to start calling a postcard. And you think, what? Because previously, the postal service, you were only allowed to call them private mailing cards or souvenir cards. Legislation had to be passed so that a postcard, an innocuous little thing called a postcard, because up to then, that was their way of communication. It was a lot more formalized. And this happy-go-lucky postcard thing on the side was a bit of a fun, geeky thing, but then it took up in popularity to the point where, okay, well, this is a source of revenue for the postal service. Let's get behind it. So this is the first day, 1901, that postcards were officially allowed to be called postcards.
Wow. When last did you send a postcard?
Actually,
last week.
No, I was thinking about it on my Caribbean trip. Not to bring it up again for the 5th time today. Every time I went to a new country in the world, I used to send myself a postcard from that country.
Oh, nice.
And on this trip is the first time I haven't.
Oh, wow.
For 20 odd years.
Okay, but why didn't you do it?
I don't know. Because the postcard was pretty much a picture of where I was.
Yeah.
With a local stamp on it. And it's pretty much to Leicester, wish you were here from Leicester kind of thing. That's all it says.
Yes.
But I don't know why I didn't. Maybe because I haven't traveled for so long that it wasn't becoming a thing. I mean, I still get fridge magnets. Not that I put them on a fridge. But I got fridge magnets from everywhere.
Yeah.
But why? It's a habit.
Yeah.
I mean, the postcards, that's the other thing. The postcards that I've sent myself over the years, they're all over the place. I come across them every now and then. There's be a little stack here. Like when I packed up my old house, I found them in 6 different places.
Yeah. So, what I mean, this is obviously going off on another tangent again, is about how we document our lives, or how do we create these souvenirs that, like you say, you come across this thing and go, oh, wow, 5 years ago, oh, look, there I was wherever. And you've written yourself a thing. Because I think we think we're going to remember, but we don't. You know, stuff fades. And I must say, I've never been a person that writes a journal or documents. And like all of a sudden I'm going,
why not?
Yeah, why didn't I do that? Okay.
Because it's I mean, unless it's an official hobby, it's just like, I can't be asked for that. I'd rather watch
I
Netflix and
suppose.
chill.
But I mean, like if you just talk about people talking about, okay, mental health and, you know, what's a good way to reframe a negative experience or enjoy a positive experience as well, to journal it. Like write every day, take 15 minutes and write.
My mother did this because we have a history of mental health issues in the family. So my mother kind of expected at some point that she would start having issues. And she was right, it's come to pass. But so when she retired, she started writing stories to herself. Just to make sure she got all the names of the people at the time, the addresses, the place names, and all of that. So it's like a journal, but she's written it as a story.
Okay.
And they're fascinating because it is a glimpse of a moment in time.
Yes.
And how things were then, and the challenges they had then. And you think back and go, oh yeah, okay, I get it. And they're just interesting stories. And there might be something major, or it might be like immigration, or it might be something that they did on a weekend.
Yes.
We went to go see a place, and this is what we saw. So she wrote these things. She didn't finish. But for my sister's birthday, she used to write them stories about when they were born and where they were, because you know my sisters are born in Kenya.
Yes.
So it was stories about what was happening at the time, where they were living, where they were born, where was the nearest hospital, because they were out in the middle of nowhere. And it was that kind of, you know, my sister wouldn't, obviously it's very useful. It's a good story to know how things were at the time. I won't go into it, but I think that's a good thing. But she only did it when she retired. But I think she had time to do it then, and she was always a good writer.
But
so I think why not? Why not?
Yeah. So
it forces you to remember these things.
Sure.
And to this day, my mother remembers stuff from longer in history than she does more recent history.
But I suppose that's just the way it happens with the brain. Is it your short-term memory becomes
potentially,
and you remember, you know, like stuff from your childhood or from. But I mean, this is the thing, though. You know, all I'm saying is like you sending a postcard to yourself, and then you say you come across them. It's actually quite a nice reminder, in a way. And I mean, I don't know if you have a business diary or anything like that.
A Metallica business diary. That's nice.
What I'm saying is like every day, you know, I would have my to-do list of stuff to do and in work, but I would write, I don't know, whether it be motivational stuff or whatever, and like stuff that I would go back on like 5 years ago or 10 years ago, and I would read this and I'd say like who is this person? I don't know this person. Like, did I write that? How do I write that?
I don't write anything anymore. But when I've cleaned out, when we moved our offices, I don't know, it was 5-6 years ago, I finally was forced to empty my desk.
Yeah.
And so I was finding stuff from projects we worked on 12 years before, 15 years before.
Yeah.
The first thing I noticed is my handwriting has changed significantly because I don't write as much anymore. My handwriting's deteriorated.
Sure.
That was the first thing it jumped, because I was struggling to read this because I didn't recognize my own handwriting. But then I was looking at some of the squiggles I used to do from the studying days when you're taking notes and you kind of created your own shorthand. I recognized some of my own shorthand in these notes, so I knew it was my stuff, even though it was in my notebook.
Good thing you can still decrypt your shorthand. You'd be like,
It's weird. The shorthand squiggles I recognize over the words. I had to piece sentences together.
yeah. But I mean,
But
just
it's kind
another
of,
thing. I mean, just on
yeah.
that, talking about documenting stuff. Like, I mean, you just alluded to it. Like for one of our next episodes, we need to. Hey, what were we talking about a year ago? Like, you do realize that over the last 2 years, we've created a catalog of conversations about what was happening around about that time that was important to us to talk about. You understand?
Good point. Yeah, it's a good point. It
And
wasn't just the model of Land Cruiser at the time.
no. And I mean, the thing
If
is
we
that,
keep this up long enough, we'll go through like several versions of Land Rover.
yeah, true. Hopefully not.
We'll
'Cause
be
I can't
talking
afford any of
about
them.
Formula One drivers from, oh, you remember them?
Yes. Yeah.
But yes, what was important to us at the time? I like that.
Yeah.
That's
And I
that's
mean,
interesting.
but what I'm saying is we didn't start it out with the intention that, hey, guys, we want to create this catalog so that one day we can look back on this catalog to say, hey, listen, what this just so happened. So, and I mean, this is what I
Inadvertently
find.
happened.
This is what I find is like the question is, why do you post something on social media? Right? Various people have got various reasons why they post stuff on social media. They want to maybe they want the dopamine hit. They want to, show other people what a good life they leading or whatever. So
Yeah.
I was very infrequent Instagram user. And there was a stage a couple of years ago where I thought, okay, no, I'm going to post stuff on Instagram. Okay, but why? So at the time, my outlet was climbing on my motorcycle and doing some adventure motorcycling, riding dirt roads in and around Gauteng. Okay. I would go and I would do this thing and I would get home and I hadn't taken one photograph. Right? Okay. So then I would say, but like I had such a great day, but I've got no memories of that day. And I was alone. I was not as if I was with someone that I could say, hey, remember 3 weeks ago we went down to Paris and we hit that water patch and whatever it is. Okay.
Yeah.
So I thought, well, how do I motivate myself to take photos? Okay, well, the goal is that after every trip, I need to be able to post on my Instagram about the trip that I did. Okay, but the purpose of that was for no one else, even though it was a public thing. It was for no one else but except for myself. Why? Because now, today, I can go onto my Instagram and just go through my own feed and see, on this day, I did that ride, and that's what happened on that ride. Okay, there's not a lot of detail there. But all I'm saying is that
relive the whole moment.
Yeah. So sometimes you need to take a long-term look at these kind of tools. And even though they, in the moment, actually, collectively, over time, it creates a narrative.
I quite like, not that I do Facebook that often, and I don't really post anything on there. But if I'm tagged in other people's stuff, which happens a lot.
Yeah.
On the 5-year anniversary or whatever it is, Facebook sends a link with a collection of these photos going on this day 5 years ago. And you're like, yeah, was that 5 years? Was that 10 years ago already?
Yes. Yeah.
Look how young I am.
Yeah.
No, but that's pretty cool. It's just a random, without you triggering it, it forces you to relive those moments, the good times. Well, hopefully good times.
Well, the thing is, like on my Samsung, I mean, I upload all my photos and videos to OneDrive automatically.
Sure.
And then every day it'll tell me on this day, last year, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, 5 years, 7 years ago, here are your photos. And like often I send a message to Oleg or my mate or whatever and say, hey, dude, look here. On this day, 3 years ago, check. We were riding our motorbikes. There we are, Chapman's Peak. Or, hey, we went to this music thing. And I mean, these are cool memories. And then I share them with my mates and say, hey, listen, remember, we did this. It's actually quite a cool thing.
So if you're
Small.
going to record your life, do you do them in videos and pictures, or do you do it in writing, or a mixture of both?
Well, I suppose, and this is the question, this whole thing of physically writing something down has some neurological benefit to it, which I don't think the electronic stuff has. So
You can't
perhaps,
AI that.
sorry, you can't AI that. No.
Mm.
So I must admit, I mean, this is a longer conversation, but I'm in two minds about what is the best, what is the most beneficial way of doing it? Because I suppose in a way I'll say, okay, well, why don't I write stuff down? Because it takes so bloody long to write, and I don't write a lot. And my handwriting, I can't read it, and my hand gets sore, and like the
Yeah,
day
the
is busy.
cramps.
Well, like, how do I find half an hour to sit and write down stuff that I can't remember? However, is there a habit that can be created there where actually the main purpose of doing that is to assist your mental health, if you want to say, in that moment, whether it's
Mm.
reframing good or bad, positive and negative events that have happened today, yesterday, or coming tomorrow. However, by doing that and doing it in a systematic way, in the long term, it actually creates a different narrative, that something that can be passed on, or how do you connect it to stuff that's happening in the world today? Like you've got your Instagram, or you've got your social media, or you're taking photos, or you're generating content. How do I merge the two together? Is there a way? Is there a need?
Mm.
Like,
Oh yeah, is there a need? And if so, how?
well, I
I don't
suppose.
know. I
So
think
this
I
is the
think it'd
thing.
be interesting to me to understand like thinking back to my mother's stories, the
Yes.
context of where she was in the world at that time, what was happening on the political landscape had an influence on the story.
Yeah.
But and that brings it to life a bit more. Like if I had to do my history, I would probably go, on this day I got my first computer.
Sure.
On this day I did that. So I'd
Mm.
like the date and the context linked with me, but also something obscure that people would go, geez, the first time you used a web browser was in 1995. My
Yeah. Like,
God.
what was the first thing that you searched on
What's the
Google?
first thing you searched?
On
Yeah.
Google, yeah. Like I was
But I would,
thinking.
yeah,
Yeah, no. Oh God, this conversation
we're
can
going to
go
go
so
on
many
forever
places.
here.
Yeah, I
We're
know,
going
but
to
I
go on
mean, it's
forever
just
here.
no. So I think the subject that we're talking about, and this is something we can talk about at a later stage, or I've got some other ideas that maybe you might be interested in, um, other than Weekend Craic, is it's like, okay, but like, what are ways that we can use current technology but old school stuff, and we can merge it together that has value in the future? Because everything is instantaneous, everything is disposable now. But actually, if you do it in a particular way, it actually over time can actually amount to something
So who's
bigger.
it for? If we're going
Well,
to go down this road for effort, is it for your own benefit when you get older, just to relive your life and good times and bad times, or is it for your daughters to understand, who you are, or their children? What is the legacy, or what's
I
the
think it's
point?
multiple. I think it's multiple. I think it's for yourself. So, like for me, like I go back to the Instagram thing. Is if I am, and I don't do it often. I go through phases where I'm posting a lot, and then I don't post for a while or whatever.
Yeah.
Um, And then I'm angry with myself that I haven't, because I've missed out. I've done things that I haven't documented, that I haven't put on Instagram, that I can't, I don't have a memory of, right?
Mm.
So, but I mean, I did it yesterday. I'm just going there through my Instagram, going back and say, oh shit, I remember I went to this music thing and I've got a video of it, and this mate of mine's playing whatever, or I went to go see Dan Patlansky, or oh look, my daughters and I were there at the Kruger Park, and oh well, yeah, I remember that day, kind of thing.
Yeah.
But if I had something additional to that photo, like the day that I took that photograph, I could say, oh, we were driving from Skukuza to Bergendal or wherever, Pretorius Corp, And halfway along the line, we stopped, and this is where I took the photo of that elephant. It just enriches it a little bit more. But
Oh my
how
God,
do
now
you
we're
do
getting
that?
into the realms of augmented reality.
I don't know. Is there what? You see, this is it. Imagine if you had an AI engine. I'm giving away my ideas. Imagine if you had an AI engine. Yeah, cut now. Yeah. So I've got an idea of what one could do.
Just look at your the one TikToks you've been doing with that one app where it shows your route that you've taken on the bike.
Relive.
And you've got images on certain places on that route.
Yes.
So this is the starting point of this, right?
No, well, listen, dude. When we in a couple of weeks' time go to the Kruger National Park, I will use that app when we drive through.
Okay,
somewhere.
cool.
And while I'm running it, I'll be taking photographs, and it will be tagging it, and I can then create a video like that afterwards. And the problem with a motorcycle is that, like, to take a photograph, so like there's this GPS thing, it's got your Google Earth thing, okay. The problem is that if you start here and the end there and take photo here and photo there, that's all you see. It's as you're going along and you're taking a photo, that's when it creates a nice story. Right. The problem with the motorcycle is that you've got to stop on a regular basis to take a photograph to create that story. You know what I mean? This photo was taken because obviously if you're running it at the time in real time and you take the photo, it tags it, and then it creates a video afterwards easily. If you do the GPS thing but take photographs along the way, but you don't geotag them, then you've got to manually go and say, okay, well, where was this? Becomes tedious.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
time consuming.
Yeah. But I mean, I've got some ideas while we're talking on what we've been talking about: photos, writing stuff, being able to merge it together. There's an idea there, dude. And I've given it away for free. But an idea is just an idea unless you do something with it.
Okay.
And tell the dude that goes and does it, I'm saying, fuck, that's my idea. Okay, geez, dude, we going on today. A lot to talk about.
Yeah, well, we haven't done one for a while, so yeah.
Yeah, and it's the end of the year, and it's Christmas. Happy Christmas, everyone. Right.
It is Christmas. Well, if we carry on like this, it'll be Christmas
yeah,
Day.
it'll be Christmas soon. Yeah. Anyway, I need to start getting ready. I need to go to my cousin's place.
On this day in 1936, the first radioactive isotope medicine was administered in Berkeley, California. 1936.
Wow.
That's earlier than I was expecting.
Yeah.
And I'm going to leave the on this day. I mean, obviously, on this day, this is Christmas Eve. And for those who celebrate Christmas, tomorrow is Christmas. So there you go, on this day.
On this day.
Oh, hang on, I've got one for you.
Yeah.
Famous birthdays today.
Oh, no.
Ricky Martin.
Yes. I was talking about him last night.
Oh, really?
Yeah, well, my daughter and I were, on YouTube watching music and all that kind of stuff. And, we came across Ricky Martin.
Wow.
Yeah, so tell me about Ricky Martin.
How old is he?
53 or something, I don't know.
He's
43.
only a year older than us.
Yeah, 51. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so, I mean, so my daughters and I were doing the whole going through Shakira's flipping catalog of music.
Oh, Shakira.
Yeah.
Shakira always reminds me of Malaysia.
Malaysia? Why Malaysia?
And I'll save that gem for another day.
Nice.
Colombia is nowhere near Malaysia.
Yeah, exactly.
Correct.
Oh, I can say, well,
I'll leave everyone on the edge of their seats for that one.
Exactly. But listen, dude, she's 45, She's looking good for 45, dude. Go check the Pepsi halftime Super Bowl thing with her and J-Lo. Worth a watch. Yeah, might
She is
remind you of
45 years old, yeah.
Yeah, she's 45.
It's a shame she had to marry that.
Wow, she's
Anyway.
separated. Just moved
Oh,
to
really?
Miami.
She's back on the market.
She just moved to Miami. Yeah.
If only I'd known, I would have looked her up while I was
Yeah,
there.
she was right there. You were in the hood, man. You were in the hood.
She's quite short.
Yeah, she is. It's fine. Doesn't matter. Anyway, dude. There we were.
Oh, yeah. Anyway, let's wrap it.
Like, let's
Before
wrap
I
it
get into
quickly.
yeah.
Before I get
All right.
myself into trouble.
Stop Googling Shakira.
Yeah. Cool, dude. Let's I've got some work to do. Do some historical research on the Weekend Craic, and then I'll put something together and we'll set it up. And enjoy your Christmas, man.
No, you enjoy your Christmas.
I suppose I should have had Christmas music, but I'm not that organized.
Why break tradition?
Yeah, exactly.
Does that mean for New Year we have to have New Year music? There's limited options there.
Anyway, dude, we'll chat soon.
Have a good one.
Keep well, yo. Be safe. We'll catch you
If
on
not,
the
be
flip
careful.
side. Yeah. Cool, man. Cheers.
Ladies. Bye.